Hey 2D, and today I have three different delays for you from Arturia, the three delays that you will actually use. And what we've got here is really amazing. I mean, these three delays will probably cover all your delay needs. I mean, to be honest, I don't know what else, is there to need, but you can always use another. But what we have here is the Memory Man. We have tape 201, tape echo, and we have a completely new delay that is not emulated or not a recreation of any existing delay, which is called the Eternity. And I think what we'll do is let's just try them out, and I'll go through all the knobs and things that you can do here, and then I just suggest you try them for yourselves. But before we get started, really wanted to say thank you for watching this. If you like the videos, if you like what I do here, then subscribe to the channel and follow me on Facebook. I have the links down in the description. And if you if you have any questions, if you have any comments, put them there. I'll respond, and if I can help you, then I'll do it. If I don't know how to help you, I don't have the answers, I'll try and look it up. But definitely leave a comment, and let's get started. So three delays from Arturia. Okay, so the first one is Memory Bridge, and Memory Bridge is a recreation of the Memory Man pedal. What we have here is not only the original stuff, but some more controls that you won't find in the Memory Man. And you have this little button here that will flick this extra section, and you also have an extended delay time. So that's two things to note, that thing here and the extended section here. So we'll get to this in a moment. Now the delay itself is pretty simple. You don't have a lot of controls, but what you have here is already very, very useful. And let's go through this and see what all these knobs do. And I've recorded some some guitar here to play with. So let's hear it out and play with the knobs, and then we'll go through everything. Let's get started here. Right, so it's pretty cool. So the first one here is the input level. Then we have the delay knobs here, and let's go back to left and right. And you can see that you have the left, the right, but this is really dependent on the mode. So if you have ping pong, then it's still left and right. But if you go to mid side, then you have the mid and you have the sides. This is pretty unique, and obviously you don't have that in the original device, right? Then you have feedback section here. The feedback knob here will control the amount of signal that will be fed back into the circuits here. And then you have the echo level, which is the volume of the echo signal, of the echoed signal, right? So these are all these controls here. Now, of course, you can sync your delay to your DAW. Mine is 120, and of course you have these parts here, and you can select different times for left and right. And what else? We also have stereo offset, which means that we'll have more delay to the left or a little bit more delay to the right. This will be more pronounced if you use the stereo width knob here. So let's try it out. Very nice. And then we also have the chorus or vibrato that you can introduce into the signal here, and you have the amount. This is also pretty cool. Let's try it out. Right. And of course you have the blend, which is the mix knob, and that's pretty simple. Now, if we go to the extended section here, you have three very useful devices here. You have LFO, envelope follower, and equalizers. If we turn on the input equalizer here, then of course you can filter out. You can have like a low pass or high pass filter here. You have the Q knob and so on. That's pretty simple. Then we have envelope follower, which basically follows the input signal, and then you can apply that modulation into any of these parameters or knobs, right? So I can, for example, go and have the input level as my destination, and then set the amount. Let's try that out. And I can do other things like control the stereo widths or maybe the feedback. And again, that basically is dependent on the input signal. And we have LFO, which is also very useful. So I can have the shape of the LFO here. For example, that will be a sine, and then I can use ramp or maybe square or sawtooth, and then I can set the amount, the rate, and I can sync it again to my DAW, to my host, and then I can select the destination. All right, so that was Memory Bridge by Arturia, and I think we pretty much covered everything. So let's move on to the next delay and see what we've got there. So the next delay that we have here is the Delay Tape 201, which is again a recreation of a historical device, the Space Echo. And what we have here is not only the original stuff, but also, again, additional controls, additional functions that you will not find in the original device, right? So, and again, you have this little knob here, this button here to open and close. So let's hear that and play with some of the controls, and then I'll go over what we've got here. So let's get going. Okay, so pretty cool. What we have here is simple controls, but very effective. So again, the original device was based on tapes, and they had three different active heads that, or three different heads that could be activated at any given time. So that's kind of 12 combinations that we have here, and I'll go through the mode selector in a moment. But to the left here, we have the VU meter, input level, peak level, warning here, and then we have 3 different types. So we have left, right, we have ping pong, and mid side, which is again pretty cool. If you use the mid side, then these repeat rate knobs turn, instead of left and right, they turn into mid and side. And let's go back to left, right. So the mod selector here, if you go to the manual, let's just jump to the manual here, then you'll see that you have the options to have 2 heads, 1 head, 3 heads going in the same time. But and we also have a reverb. So this is very important. And this unit is not only a delay, it's not only an echo device, but it also introduces some reverb here. So you can have a combination between the reverb and the echo, and you can see that 1 to 4 are all repeats here, and 5 to 11 they are combination of reverb and echo, and then the last one is only reverb. Or it's actually the first one. And let's again try it out. Nice. And so when you turn the knob here, you can see the active heads engaged or closing. Right, so all these options, and each one will give you a different flavor, a different type of echo. So just experiment, try them out, and see what works for you. Of course, we have the repeat rate here, and you can sync them to your DAW. You can lock them, you can unlock them, and have different settings. If you go to the mid side, of course, the sides will be the wider kind of echoes, and then you can select the mid frequencies to have different repeat rates and so on. Let's go to ping pong, and again you can play with that. That's pretty cool. Intensity is basically a mechanism to feedback the echo into the device, and then you will get more and more repeats. If you go too far to the right, then you'll get into a self-oscillating kind of mode. Let's see how it actually sounds. Right, and then we have the echo mount, which is basically the volume of the echoes, and we have reverb. If you want to use the reverb here, then you know that's pretty cool device as well. And we also have stereo controls here, so you can have more of a delay for the to the left or to the right, but you have to use the stereo width to have that effect noticed. And so that's kind of offset to the left or right. And then we have bass and treble controls, and we have wet and dry. So that's the basic stuff here. Pretty cool. And if you click that knob here, that button here, then you have extended view, and that extended panel here, you have equalizer, which is self-explanatory, and it's a high pass, low pass, and so on. And you also have a section here that will give you things that are mechanical emulations of the device, where you can introduce flutter, for example, which will give you a little bit of randomness, or some variation in the echoes, in the repeat rates. You have motor interior, which what it actually does, it will delay the time that it will take the device to reach a new repeat rate. So if it goes here all the way to the left, then that will be pretty immediate. And if you go all the way to the right, it will take a little bit of time before the repeat rate will change. So let's play with that. You get the idea. And then we can also introduce some noise to get that lo-fi kind of grit into the signal here. And so that's all pretty cool. And we have LFO, which is definitely very useful. What you do here is you select the shape, it will be a sine, then you have the rate, and you can sync it to your host, and you have the amount to control, how much the LFO will affect the destination. And here you can select, for example, let's use it on the input volume and see what we've got. You get the idea. Okay, I think we've covered pretty much everything. That was pretty cool. So that's it for that tape 201, the Space Echo. Let's move to the next one. Okay, so the third delay that we have from Arturia is called Delay Eternity, and it's not a recreation of any existing device or anything. It's completely new. So I think what we'll do is let's try it out, and then I'll walk you through all the controls here. So yeah, let's get this going. Cool. So what do we have here? First of all, we have time modes, and we have three options here. We have the repitch, digital, and fade. The repitch is kind of a recreation of tape delay, where when you change the time, then you'll get like a pitch movement here. So let's try and play with that. All right, you get the idea. And then we have digital, which means that we're just transitioning between the times here with with no effect, no pitching or anything. It will be immediate, but it can create some stuttering effects. So let's try that out. So that can be cool if you automate that with the envelope follower or the LFOs, and we can try and play with that later. And then we have the fade, which will smooth out the transition, and it can also have some nice effect. So let's try it out. Right, so you have to experiment, you have to work with that and see what works for you. Now, stereo mode. So as with the other delays, Arturia was really creative here and adding a mid-side option. So the default is to use left and right, but if we choose mid-side, then the controls here are changing to mid and side, which for me, it's just great. It's a very, very useful implementation here. So let's try it out. Right, and now we get to the mid to the real controls here. So you immediately can see that we have line 1 and line 2, which is basically having 2 delays. So when normally working with the single ping pong or pan, you have only line 1, but if you go to dual mode, then you have the 2 lines. So you actually have 2 delays, and you can set them in serial or in parallel. So this is the parallel, the dual, and then you have dual serial, which means that we are feeding line 2 with the output of line 1, and that can create a lot of creative ideas here. So let's play with that. Right, but going back to the beginning here. So single is just a single, and you have your left, right, or mid-side options here. Then of course you can link the two the two controls here, and they will be just moving together. You can sync to your host, your DAW. In my case, it's 120 BPM, or you can have it in milliseconds. Right, and we have an option to set an offset, which means that we're getting more of the left signal than the right, or the other way around, but you have to change the stereo width here. If you're on the default, then you will not really get the effect. So that's the offset here. Feedback is as its name, it's feeding back the delayed signal into the device, and if you go all the way to the right, you will actually get, as with the other delays, you'll get some self-oscillating effect. So let's try that out. You get the idea. And then if you use any of the automations here, the envelope follower or the LFO, then you can play with that as well. So that's the basic line options here. Then we have Beat Crusher, and we can turn it on and off here for each of the lines if you're in dual or single mode here. And if you change the resolution, that's the beat. Yeah, you can have 24 beats or even 2 beats. So that's kind of interesting stuff here. And you can have the LFO automate that. And we have down sampling, so we're just reducing the sample rate. And again, you can turn it on and off for each of the lines individually. We also have a filter, and that filter have 3 modes. You have 6 dB per octave SAM and 36 dBs per octave. And down here you have low pass, high pass, and band pass. And you have the cutoff and resonance. The cutoff and resonance, the cutoff will of course be available for you anyway, but the resonance is available only on the SAM. If you go to 36, then it's turned off. And so that's the main controls here. And you have the stereo width. Here you have the echo volume, which means that you can turn on and on or more or less of the echoed signal, and dry and wet control. Right, and if you click this button here, you can you can reveal the advanced or the additional controls. And here you have an input equalizer, with the usual controls here. You have envelope follower, which you can assign to 2 destinations. So I can have, for example, the input volume, and let's play with that. right? And we have two LFOs. Each one of them can be assigned to two destinations, and you can link them together, and you can change the rate here. So let's play with that as well. Let's do something like this. Let's do the Beat Crusher. Right, so that's an idea, and again you can change, for example, the let's do the input volume. That will be the most easy. Not so cool. So I think we pretty much covered everything, though there are a couple of things that I've missed. And one of them is the ping pong, and the other one is the pan. So the ping pong is basically just a ping pong, right? So the signal will jump from left to right, and the pan will be something else. It will start in the middle and then will spread out to the sides. And you have a pan speed over here. So this is pretty much it. I think we covered everything. And again, these are the Arturia delays. We have three of them. We have the Eternity. We have we have the tape 201, and we have the memory bridge. And I didn't show you that, but of course, and many times exactly what I do is I use the delays as a send effect and not as an insert. So of course you can do that, and I can just go here and send my delay to any of the effects here. Right, so that was it. So I hope that was helpful for you, and I hope you learned and got a chance to see what really is these three delays. And I really, I think I have a lot of ideas what to do with these guys, and I hope you too. So if you like this video, if you enjoy this, leave a comment, and of course subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Facebook. I have the links down in the description, and that's it. So I'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much. Bye bye.